Welcome to another adventure of Love to RV. There we are cruising, this time cruising in Tahiti. We're going to check out some of these islands. I know I'm butchering half these names. Sorry, islands. But most of our stops were tender stops. We anchored offshore, took the little tenders, and went to the islands. And of course, this one was right next to these little sharks running around. Of course, they're feeding them here and there, so that's an attraction. We get to see the sharks. And I don't think I want to swim in that section of the water. They can stay there. Well, if you remember in the background, we're on the Oceania Cruises cruise ship Nautilus. This is the island of Nautica. Sorry for the mispronunciation, but I don't think I want to get next to that plant. I call them thorns in that thing. This island had a bunch of these statues. So they're there from ancient times. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, there's a bunch of pictures. Of course, to walk in around, it's all the fire station. It's all gated up. And that's a new statue there too. It kind of has three things on it. It's called a hydrant. No. Anyway, there's our ship way in the background. That's the entrance to one of the cathedrals on the island. It was built in 1975. We were reading the signboard. It was made of stone and mortar and carved wood. Everything in this was carved. These doors were beautiful. And the statues, as you enter, of course, it's open air. You do have pews, but all the stations of the cross itself in front of the altar, everything it says was carved there from the islands to put in the church. And definitely some beautiful carvings. So 1975, this church was built. Again, we were on Oceania Cruises, doing Tahiti. This was the Cathedral Mary Queen of the Marquettes Island. That was Pope Francis statue. Couldn't get any closer. And it's just the entrance to this cathedral. And of course they had a lot of these, that looks like brand new, these statues. So there's over 50 of them on the walkway, symbolizing strength, leadership, and a bunch of other little stuff. This one's watching over the bay. This is all abalone shells for a Christmas tree looking like. And the water is crystal blue. That's where most of the people were swimming away from the sharks. And the government buildings on the island. This was called the Woman Warrior and Man Warrior statue. It was built right before our pandemic hours. This was our ship. So you had to climb a big hill to get to the top of that woman statue. And these are the tenders, back and forth. Remember, our ship only had 639 people aboard. And it's inside the tender. It didn't have a roof access like some of the more bigger ships. And as a tender, you see some sights of the islands. The next day, this is the island of Rangiroa. It was pouring when we arrived, but it was still 85 degrees. And then 20 minutes later, here it is. Beautiful island. Got to ride a bike up and down the island. And of course, the airport had a little fire station there. The nicer rig inside. And of course, they had a little boat. And probably that tows the boat. But anyway, the water is gorgeous. Literally, we arrived, it was pouring. And it just came crystal clear within the hour. People took advantage, got on the water. And that's what it looked like when we first arrived. Our ship's to the right. The ship in the middle is Silver Seas, another smaller cruise ship. There's a church here on the island also. Just a nice little place. Again, everything's open air, so to speak. And this is one of the cruises, or excursions. And then we also got to go in the water. You can walk 200-300 feet maybe to that, to get out there in the ocean, our ship. Instead you already can walk over here, and the water was like 80 degrees, not more. It's like bath water. It was nice. We walk a long ways out there to get to waist deep or neck deep. And this is part of Bora. This was a big river in Bora that you could kayak, canoe in. They said the river was flowing pretty high that day, but it didn't look like that to us. Some fun facts of Bora. The airport is on an island. To get to your hotels, you have to be ferried in on a boat. To get to the main island, you have to be ferried in on a boat. And of course, Bora has a lot of them bungalows on the water. This was a church that was on the north side of the island where our ship docked. And this was a fire engine that was pumping fresh water to the ship. And more fire equipment that happened to be just down the street here in Bora. They use them more for grass fires, what we're told. And this was our desserts that were on the ship. This was a key lime pie that was awesome. A chocolate souffle with vanilla ice cream. A creme brulee cheesecake. So the food on Oceania was awesome. This is the Richmond Fire freaking old guy shirt out there just recording. This was our ship. This is the only time we docked was in Bora. This was the evening before we left. And this was time lapse of a tender coming in. And it was full moon. It was bright and gorgeous night for us to take off to head back to Papapi. This was the morning getting off the ship. This was our 25 members of our group from Flying Dutchman Travel. Had a blast. We got off the ship to head to the Hilton to stay. Of course, there's a line just to get in. The Hilton offers us a huge lounge area to lounge in. So our flights didn't leave until 9 o'clock p.m. Inside the airport, once we got there, chilled out. Now we're back home. On the airport, we're heading back to Santa Rosa to see this kid. This is Athen, our 8-month-old puppy. Anyway, thank you for watching our videos. More to come, so subscribe, like, and comment. Love and hugs to all. Thank you.